All right, what's going on, crazy folk? What's happening? Hope y'all ain't out there burning down no houses. Good to be out here talking this boxing. What's going on? Well, we ain't gonna talk about boxing today. I decided that I was gonna take a break from boxing today, and I was gonna talk about whatever type of world crazy ass issues that are out there. Cause I got videos coming up today about the boxing, but I read what saw something that Ice Cube said, and I was like, man, finally somebody understands, man. Somebody understands where I'm coming from. And why I have such a hard time with protests and things like that, because they know and they don't care, man. Like debating with these people back and like fucking idiots like Paulie Malignaggi and dudes like that, trying to debate about this stuff. Dog, they know. They just don't care, man. They know and they just don't care. He said, man, I can't even wait for this live show to get started. I'm on my shit today. Hope for non-boxing is too. Yeah, man, I'm definitely on it today, man. You got to come on with this, man. Like, wow. But let's wait a little while. Actually, hit this mute. Wait for some people to come on in the building. I know more than likely Black Fight Fan TV ran over today. So I'll just wait a little bit while before we really get into the crux of it, man. But dog, these dudes out here in these streets getting killed, and it seems like these people are out there and they don't even care, and they doing it like just staring at cameras. I mean, just staring at the motherfucker, just stared at the camera. No damn well that shit's going to be all over the place and don't care. That lady in the park, they tried to get that dude killed by the police officer by lying and acting as if he was some threat to her. She know what she was doing was wrong, just didn't care. Just didn't care. And I've been trying to tell y'all that for a long time. They know and do not care. They know and they do not care. And there ain't any other way around that shit. That's the only thing that makes sense. That you know and you don't care. All of the talking, all of the let's solve the problems are the numbers. Let's look at this statistically and see where the variation, where there's discrepancies in the statistical and all that crap don't matter, dude. The end of the day, dog, I'm telling you, Neely Fuller Jr. is right. He's right. He's right. He's not just kind of right. He's right. And the dude puts the way that he lays this shit out, puts everybody else's explanations of the situation to shame. Because if just like he said, if you do not understand racism, how it works, what it is and how it works, everything else will only confuse you, which is why people keep running around confused because they don't understand what it is, dude. And it's not that fucking complicated. You are there to be mistreated. They have the right to mistreat you. And if and when they choose to mistreat you, they will do so. And they will look at everybody else in their community, and that community will sit there and say, you're right. They have the right to mistreat that guy because he has color in his skin. And that's enough. Not everybody, obviously. Not everybody, obviously. But see, the fact that you even have to say that is just another little distracting argument. Not everybody thinks like that. Why do you think everybody thinks like that? I don't know whether or not everybody thinks like that or not. But I think I know enough people think like that for that shit to continually be the case, dog. Continually be the case. And the only way that they're going to solve their problem, their part of the deal is when they decide that they're going to solve it. Period. And I don't see them trying to actually solve that shit any fucking time soon because it makes a lot of money and it's very successful. And it's a very successful way to organize their community. They profit from that. So the idea that they're going to solve that shit, they're going to solve that shit is tough. What's going on, Angela Wise? Said Avery 81st for 9. I'm from Minnesota and they tearing this joint up. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of black people killed too. I would see that part of it. Dude, the shit's coming. Like, what's going on, Anthony Ingram? You know it's coming. You know it's coming. So that's why it's like hard for me to even get mad. Like, it's my feeling is more of one of just disappointment and like, like it's when you know something is coming and you expect it, it's hard to get mad about it. You know what I mean? You can be disappointed, you can be frustrated, but for me, I'm talking about me. The anger does not come into it because this is the reality that I've lived in for 51 years. The frustration comes from this, that there's so many people that don't realize that they're actually living in it. That's actually what the situation is. And that what people are saying about racism and all of the different components of it really affecting them, there's people that it affects every day that still close their eyes, walk through life like this. Like they see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. But I would, Avery 81st, for real, I would advise you, dude, be frustrated in your house. But hey, man, that's just my viewpoint. If y'all want to go out there and fight and run them and do all kind of stuff, that's, hey, you got to do you because, hey, man, maybe that'll solve the problem. I don't see it solving the problem at all. I don't see it solving the problem. I see it causing problems for the people that go there, but I don't see it solving problems, but I could be wrong. Maybe what people need to do is maybe people really do need to have one big uprising and say, hey, man, if you're going to get it over with today. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only logic. Salute for nine. These are sober days. Yeah, man, it's tough, but it's been sober. Warren Albert, it's been sobering days, man. Been sobering days. This has been how it is. Been this way. Been this way. It's just that the people are being convinced and you're led to this sense that that's not really what America is. That's real America right there. And they're telling you it. When they don't give a fuck about a TV, about a camera being in their face, they're telling you, this is what the shit is, and I don't give a fuck if you put me on camera or not. The man just sat there, dude. Just sat there with a knee on a dude's throat. Like, it's another day at work. Why this dude is dying right up underneath his knee. And he knows it. There ain't no way that as another human being, you would tie somebody's hands behind their back, lay them on the ground, put your knee on their throat, on their neck, and not think they're going to die. That was just cold-blooded, in-your-face, unemotional murder right there. And when do you see this? When was the last time what other scenarios have you seen cold-blooded murder with a completely neutral affect on the face of the person that is witnessing it? Do you remember looking at that guy's face reminded me of that picture of the lynching with the little white girl that is sitting up there in her Sunday clothes, just looking at the dude swinging and burning like if she ain't got a care in the world. Like this, just sitting there with their kid, just watching it. What's the difference? Literally, what's the difference between what you saw happen in Minnesota and that? But what was the difference between what you see in Minnesota and the guy that got shot 100 times in New York? Or Robert Byrd that got drugged with his head popped, the guy where his head popped off, right? Or Tamir Rice that gets blown up. It's just every week. It's every week. It's every week, man. They're not supposed to care about us. We need to care about ourselves. They're killing us anyway, and we're not fighting back. So when we fight, at least we get some of them deacons of defense. Well, look, Daniel Pickney, this is my take on that. Okay. Nobody knows how the problem can be solved because the problem has not been solved. Okay. Nobody knows how the problem can be solved because the problem has not been solved. I can't sit here and tell you that won't solve the problem because I don't know what'll solve the problem. But I believe, it's my personal belief that if you see that is something that is constructive for you and that it is going to help you achieve goals that you have for yourself, constructive goals, then hey man, you got to go out there and you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? You got to do what you got to do. Myself personally, I've never been I'm not gonna. Yeah, I was jaded so early in life about the circumstance. I mean, like at age, I was completely jaded at 6. Like, by the time I was 6 years old, I gave up on any hope that white people would stop killing black people. At 6 years old, because I knew what their parents. I mean, these are reasonable. These are people that are walking around, going in and out of church, that really have no problem with you dying. Like none. You like the job where they said that there were separate races, and like Paulie Malignaggi referred to people as Warren Albert said 8 for me. Yeah, man, you're a little late to the show, dog. By 12, this is my personal opinion. By 14, you should lose all faith. If there's a black person that's not lost complete faith in white people's desire to get rid of the concept and the oppressions related to racism, if you have not completely given up on them by the age of 14, dog, you are not paying attention, and you are not doing your homework and reading your homework, man. You really are not. They have no remorse about it. They have no remorse. They have no compunction. They've never had remorse. They've never had compunction. None. You know what I mean? None. And even when I hear these people, like these morons talk, not like morons, fuck it, I'll call them morons. Dude, you cannot look at that particular organization, the blue ones. You cannot say that those were infiltrated by people who are of clannish dispositions. No, that is what they were. And they were infiltrated, hopefully, by some people that would bring them down a notch. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. They're there to protect them and serve your ass with a nice ass whooping, man. And have been doing that, dude. Been doing it for hundreds of years. But yet the shock continues, huh? Andrew, man, Fanon, I think you think you love me. Hey, that's all right, dog. In a brotherly fashion, if that's the case, hey, man, I appreciate it. Anyway, I'll leave that alone. I gave up at age 12 after watching a cop snatch a black man out of his car and put a shotgun in his face. Man, what did I give up? I gave up on white people when I got in a fight for somebody calling me a nigga and spitting in my face. And I defended myself, and I got detention. I got detention, and nothing happened to that dude. I was in a school for 6 straight years of that shit. Man, the principal never said shit to none of the fucking kids. None of them. Okay? I was walking and well within earshot of got called niggas, well, very close to teachers. There ain't no fucking way they didn't know that shit was going on. Never a word, never a peep. So, because who do you think is teaching 2-year-olds, 5th and 6th grade kids to talk like that? And to do those things? Their parents. He said that was brotherly, man. That's all right. Hey, it's brotherly love. That's all right. Hey, Brothers UK, salute for Fanon to Don. Drew Titan needs 1,000 subs. Now, excellent LDBC contributor. Peace. Yeah. Drew Titan, yeah, man, go ahead and subscribe to Drew Titan. I'm sorry, I said this is a non-boxing subject, so many of the ear sluttish type people will not be in today into the comment section. So, you might not get as much, man, but we'll do a big drive this weekend to get Drew. What is he at 800 or something? Yeah, that should be easy money, man. Y'all need to go subscribe to Drew Titan. Because hey, dude, look, man, this is the thing. All right. Do you think about breathing air? Like, do you think about breathing air? You don't, right? You don't think about breathing air. You just, if somebody mentioned it to you, it's just something that's natural, right? That's part of your environment. Okay, here, I'll put it this way. All right. The importance of Afrocentric study, okay? Start with that. The idea that there was going to be Afrocentric study was to talk about and look at history from the viewpoint of an African, right? So you're not talking about people coming, going to your land or discovering your land. You're talking about somebody coming into your land, and the first time that you observe them come out of the sea, right? So that would be two ways that you can look at history. The way that we're typically in American history, we're taught it in a Eurocentric viewpoint, where the center of it, right? Center of it is a European viewpoint of the world. So you learn that Christopher Columbus discovered the Western Hemisphere, or North America and South America, because he was sent on a trip by Queen Isabella of Spain. And then eventually a lot of people came over there and they founded a country, and there, where there really wasn't anything before. There was a few savages running around that they had to organize and teach to read and go to God, and and it was that is their manifest destiny, right? So that is Eurocentric. The center is Europe, a European point of view, and then you look out, right? You look out into the world through those eyes, and that's how you see his story. Well, with Afrocentric studies, it's the opposite view. You would look at North America, like how the country of the United States was formed, and you would look at it from the viewpoint of the African who was taken from Africa and brought to to America, or the Africans that were already in the United States before the takeover of North America by Europe. Right, the Africans that were already here before they got here, and the Africans that were snatched up and brought. So that would be the look that you're looking at. So it's very difficult for people who are European, who look at the world from a Eurocentric point of view, to even see racism. Because remember what they're taught. They're taught that they have developed everything of note in the history of the world, right? From electricity to cars to navigation to mathematics to the everything that they're taught is that they are the center of the world, and that they are center of all creation, and that's because that's God, Jesus is white and God is white, right? In the church, that's who you pray to. So the center of all creation, the center of all world politics, right? It's so much so that when you discuss what's going on with the United States vis-a-vis other countries, it's very difficult for them to see themselves as somebody that is going out and conquering and fighting and starting shit with other people. They see it from their point of view, from somebody that is, well, we need to defend ourselves against the rest of the world, because the nature of human beings are evil, and God has put us on the planet. Our manifest destiny is to have dominion over the earth. Dude, you think with that type of shit in your head? You surprised that they think policemen aren't really the ones that are starting a bunch of shit in black neighborhoods? Shit, the police themselves probably don't even think that they are. They truly believe that they are doing right. They truly believe that they are in the right. Truly. Many of them truly believe that. Because I've met some dudes, like I said, I knew a lot of these type of people from early ages, and a lot of them, they view themselves as good people. They don't see themselves as being bad people by their nature. They find themselves to be good Christian people that take care of their families, that love their mothers, that love their fathers, take care of their kids, right? Constructive members of the community. They don't see themselves as being bad people. But racism is something, if you explain it, the whole concept of it is just on face value horrific, right? So how do you justify? That's that cognitive dissonance that we talk about, right? Where you have a viewpoint of the world of yourself being angelic, but the reality of it is that this angelic man has his knee on the neck of some fucking body else and he's choking them to death. How do you put that together in your mind? And that's why I gave up hope, because I was like, they don't even see the shit. They don't even see it. It's impossible for them to see it because 99% of their day, they have nothing to do with it. And it just enters into the room as black people walk into the room. Because understand, racism is only real when there's more than one race. So if you're surrounded by white people, European people all the time, those are all the people, those are your neighbors, those are your people you work with, and you very rarely come into contact, it doesn't exist for you because it only really exists when it is time to mistreat somebody because they've got color in their skin. So you can have somebody like Paulie Malignaggi walk around thinking the shit doesn't exist because for you, sir, it does not fuck the sir, you idiot. It doesn't exist 99% of the time. It only exists when we walk in the room. Something that is there to allow the mistreatment of somebody with color in their skin only comes into play when there are people with color there. And the majority of their life, they don't have that. And even when they're watching black people on TV, this shit going on with black people, they still are surrounded by nothing but themselves. They're 7% of the population. And can go weeks and months without seeing your ass. You know what I mean? I don't think burning shit down is going to do anything other than reiterate what they already believe, which is this: we need to be shooting you Negroes because look at you out there burning shit and acting. Oh, you're not bringing that shit to my neighborhood. We're going to take the fight to you, right? And the same vicious cycle starts all over again. That's what I have seen in my 50 years on the planet. You know what I mean? The person that goes second always gets caught. You know, that's why Evander Holyfield said he didn't bite Mike Tyson on the ear. He said everything, you know, the guy that responds gets caught. And that's what it is. It's pretty much what that is. Person that responds gets caught. Man, African sci-fi scholar, man, he said, Slew Fanon, you reminded me when I was in Joe Byrne, the Boers argument for black people not to take their land back is that black people don't know how to manage land and irrigation systems. Yeah. But see, that's what dude, we are in a caste system. And you are not, you're not going to get the education necessary to do those things. Because if you have the education to do those things, you are no longer dependent upon them. So they're not going to teach you how to do that. But fuck, you got to figure it out. You'll figure it out. That's the thing. You'll figure it out. Which is why I just don't like, dude, I'm much more of a like reclude. Like, I mean, isn't that reclude? I'm probably saying some shit don't make no sense. That's why, like, if my whole thing is, I would rather, my personal inclination is if you don't like me and I don't have any faith in you whatsoever, I don't want anything to do with you. And I'm going to try my best to get away. Recluse, thank you. I'm going to try to do my best to get away from you. I'm not going to go trying to have conversations with you. You know what I mean? That shit's not like, even if like me and you had an issue, like a personal issue, my tendency is this: if you're not putting me in any type of danger, like I don't think you're threatening my wife, you're not threatening my son or my daughter, at which point in time I will seek you out. You know what I mean? But if it's some scenario like I just think it's something I don't want that you and I don't get along, and I don't feel like I have to defend myself, like you're going to actually come get me, dude, you can go the fuck away from me. I'll never think about you, and I'll never talk to you. You know who the biggest threat was in American history for the black man that was probably the greatest, considered the greatest threat at any given time in American history? Can you tell me who that guy was? This guy talks about, now I know you guys know who he is, but he's very rarely given the credit that he deserves, or at least haven't acknowledged exactly how scared he had people and like how really truly close He was to make some shit pop off. Shit that would have been painful anyway, like in long term, would have definitely been painful and kind of went sideways in other areas too. There you go. African sci-fi scholar, Marcus Garvey, who was like, hey, man, we just got to go. Like, you know what I mean? But see, now you can't go. Yep. Marcus Garvey can't go. There's nowhere to go. You know what I mean? So my thing is, that's why I like Neely Fuller Jr. I think what you do is you just come in, you just got to sit down, dog. You just got to sit down, be constructive, be as constructive as we can be, because that really is working against the system that causes a lot of this. It really does. And I think, but not in the way that you would think it would. I don't think that it's going to go away, that racism is going to end and black people are going to stop being mistreated because we stay at home, right? We are either doing the yard, or we're reading a book, or we're writing something, or, you know, we might be playing a game of basketball or doing something that is, you know, constructive, teaching each other, you know, going to somebody's house so they can teach you how to do, you know, AC, you know, to fix ACs, whatever, working on a car. If that's all we did, then they would have to find some other fucking reason to say that they're fucking us over. That's how I would just love, because right now they've got some pretty bad arguments. But if we had just a whole lot of just, look, man, we're going to fix ourselves in our own house. Like, just here. This is my mini country right here. This room, this room is my presidential suite. And the rest of this shit, the yard, the other bedrooms, my wife and my kids, those are the people that's my country. Okay. And I'm going to make sure I take care of my country. I'm going to make some money. I'm going to read some books. You know what I mean? I'm going to get off my fat ass and exercise. And I'm going to try to put my kids in the best situation that I can get them in. That's my economics. That is my education. That's my entertainment. That's my religion. That's war. I got my wife. So, hey, that's all 8 areas of human activity underneath my roof. And I'm going to try to do my best to be constructive as I can be in all of those things. And if I can do that, I can keep me, at least me, as an independent person. At least I can say, hey, man, the system don't want me to be like this. Okay, they don't want me to be like this. And I can tell you why, a perfect example of why you know it. Because if you go look at some of like that, go to the the real black intellectuals, not the pseudo intellectuals, the real black intellectuals. And I mean, by that, I mean, distinguished educators. That's probably the better way to do it, because I have a slight bias there, obviously, by the way I phrased that. And by that, I'm talking about them as opposed to listening to Snoop Dogg, right? Like Snoop Dogg and Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith. You know, if you're really listening to like the Watson Institute on International Policy, and the guy, like, they got this black dude who's like a professor of like, she's like some type of microbiology, some shit, and he was breaking down the coronavirus. What, dude? If we listening to those type of guys, man, I'm telling you, you can really get an idea. Like, dude, there's really some black folk out here that really are brilliant people, man, and working on things that are productive and constructive. The celebrity part of it is twisting my dome, man. Marcus Garvey got his idea from Booker T. Washington, and they were going to work together. Yeah, man, that was during a different time and age, man. That was during the time when it wasn't as solidified, like what the British Empire turned into, right? The British Empire turned into is, because it's not the British Empire anymore, but that was its genesis. It wasn't as fully developed, or it didn't have the world on as much of a lockdown. It had like more a physical lockdown, but now it's financial. It's just, you know, they really got their hands wrapped around, it seems like, everything possible to have their hands wrapped around. So I don't see that, but that like that there is any real geographic separation that is going to eliminate the problem. You know what I mean? Geographically, I don't think so. Intellectually, I think is very important. Like it's underrated. Like the geographic separation, I think is less important than the intellectual separation. The way that you think, that to be that separate, that is more important, because you can't ever really have enough physical separation to get, because wherever you are, that system is already there. But your intellectual independence and looking at the world in what I think to be a more authentic manner, I think could be tremendously beneficial. African sci-fi scholar said it's a dilemma because we're separated within the country. We naturally create multiple Black Wall Streets, which were attacked and destroyed. Yeah, but we got a little Black Wall Street going on right now. Shit, the LDBC is a little Black Wall Street. We fucking killing it. So Black Wall Street is just Black people that got together to live together, to use, to work together, to prosper together, to exchange goods and services in a manner in which they, in a place they're comfortable in. And that's what we're doing. So we got opportunities. We still have those opportunities to do that. And I think that there's scenarios where it's not been destroyed. It just typically tends to, this is more of the totality of the situation. I don't think separation. No, see, it's a dilemma because and exactly. I'm sorry. I actually kind of missed your point, African sci-fi scholar. You said it's a dilemma because when we separated within the country, right? We naturally created multiple Blacks, which were attacked. Yeah, exactly. You're going to wind up, if you're being successful somewhere, you're going to wind up having people there. Because that's what success breeds. It's a competitive system. It's a very competitive nature. So you're going to have issue, because wherever you are, capitalism is going to flow that way, right? Because we're primarily a capitalist nation. So even if people just didn't give a shit and you went and started prospering on an island somewhere, they didn't. As soon as they found out about that shit, as soon as people with money found out about that shit, they would be like, okay, how can I get that money? They've got resources over there. Oh, money and people that are buying things. Oh, they need to buy our shit. So how are we going to get in there? How are we going to open your borders? How are we going to allow you to participate in international trade? Black Undertaker, how? The same way that it's always happened. Isolation. If you don't do business with the Western world, you are isolated. You're isolated. Dewan Robert, I know what that is. I just don't really get into the economic part of it. We're not, dude. My thing now, this is going to sound crazy. This is the one thing I'm going to say all day that's going to sound crazy, but I believe it. It's a miracle that I believe would happen. You could kill every Black person on this planet. In 10 years from now, one would pop out some white people. Boom! That'd just be a chocolate kid just jump out. They'd be like, what the fuck happened here? Oh, well, you did not realize that the body really is just a physical manifestation of the soul. So even though you might destroy the body, the soul is there. And if the soul wants to express itself in that fashion, it will express itself in that fashion. That's when it'll just pop out. You know what I mean? You pop out and boom, it'll be there. Okay? Just like Jurassic motherfucking Park. Remember Jurassic Park? In the movie Jurassic Park, where they were like, we didn't want them to reproduce, so we just made them all female. And they were like, we forgot that there's some animals that if there are no females around, the man will just turn into the female will just turn into a man. The hormones will just kick in because that's what nature needs it to do. Because they're just manifestations of something that is non-physical. And until you can get rid of something that is non-physical, you can't truly fuck up the physical. And I think that is backed up by, because I think that's a pretty rational viewpoint of our physical universe. because because the whole argument starts off in as they educate you that something came from. Where did everything come from? Nothing. So hey, for now, why do you say the Big Bang? There was nothing. That's what they're saying. There was nothing. And then all of a sudden there became something. So something came from nothing. And the default human is a black person. That's the default. Everything else is a mutation. That's the default. That's why it's called dominant genes, because everything else is a mutation to affect, something environmental, where the body says, oh, we need to change this way, or we need to change that way. But the default to survive on Earth itself was a black person, somebody with very dark pigment. And that's already been proven, homie. So we'll just pop out of nowhere, dog. Somebody just pop out your kid. All of a sudden you have a kid, and he'd be like, seems to be kind of tanned. Oh, great Aunt Celia had a little Cuban in her, and it's still there, right? Because the genetics are always still there. But anyway, created by God with a black man as a son. Black woman, I think, was probably the first sex, was probably a female, because there wouldn't be anything without a female. So, and actually at a point, it was probably unisex at some point in time, I would suspect. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't it have to be unisex at some point in time, like self-reproducing? At a certain point, it would have to be self-reproducing. I don't know, man. Where's Gregory Wyatt, man? I like having Gregory conversations because I don't know shit about that. But life is no beginning and no end. Yep, pretty much. The Black Undertaker said, color of dirt. Yeah, maybe. And maybe it became darker. Maybe darker skin, real dark skin might be a mutation too. I don't know. But it would have to be an increase of something that was there. You know what I mean? Eternal is no by sadness. I'm not sure what you mean, Amy J. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Had to be something. Oh, I know it wasn't nothing. I don't believe it's no thing. It's no thing. That doesn't mean nothing, like it's no thing. It's not a thing. It doesn't mean that it's not real. Just because it's not a thing. Like a noun is a thing. A thing is usually associated with a noun, a person, place, or a thing. It has to be something you can put your hands on to be a thing. Just because it's not something you can observe and see doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Because in that case, thought would be nothing. No thing. Isn't thought no thing? Because you can't touch it. To my knowledge, maybe somebody that knows more than I can say, that they say that they have located areas of brain where it's associated, but that doesn't mean, but that's not it. That's some lights going off in a computer. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, hey, man, you can't read. That's why you can't read somebody. You can't read somebody's thoughts because they don't exist. You have to make that manifest, and we are thought manifest. That's, anyway. Breathe out, breathe, blow into the dirt, and it became breath blown into the dirt, and it became a living soul. Oh, I even like the word living there too. I like that. Oh, my man, I'm sorry, man. I missed Brothers UK. Much love in the super chat. He said, Brothers for United Independent Compensatory Code, Neely Full Jr. Drew Titan needs 1,000 subs now. Excellent LDBC contributor. Brothers UK, I did not read that all the way through the first time. I needed to make sure that I went back. He said, African Sci-Fi Scholar said, wow, never thought about the LDBC, a virtual Black Wall Street. Salute to you, bro. Yeah, it is. No worries, man. I appreciate you. It is. Yep. Doing very well. I think people are doing very well. And saying, hey, man, we really appreciate you guys. Everybody has an opportunity to put out their product, and people get an opportunity. Not everybody in Black Wall Street owned something. It was some people that were service, and some people own banks. Some people own businesses, own oil wells, things like that, and lived in the same community. Some people were consumers. Some people were producers and consumers. Probably, obviously both. Color of a tree is alive but has no soul. Humans only have soul. White in every color came from black. Dominant genes can produce recessive genes, but recessive genes can't produce dominant genes. I say they will pop out. It will pop out. Color of the tree, and I think nature can create whatever it wants to. Because we have no idea how things went from dinosaurs to birds. If that's what actually happened, who knows though, man? Funny stuff. The color of the tree is alive, but no soul. Humans only have soul. Anyway, yeah, so this has been kind of nerded out today. It's called parthenogenesis. What is Wesley Lewis? What is parthenogenesis? Yeah, Africa's hot sun, black skin. Yeah, they got some black skin. And I know what you're talking about with that. Sometimes we don't just know things. Being practical, we focus on what we know. Sometimes we just don't know things. Being practical, we focus on what we can know. Yeah, now that's true. Absolutely. But yeah, man, what is parthenogenesis? Sorry for boring people today, man, on a little bit of a heady conversation, but it just had to be today. You know what I mean? Missed the point so greatly I can't go there till time. When the female can produce, on their own without a male, parthenogenesis. There you go. Thank you. See, you're so smart. You guys are so smart. Parthenogenesis. I will try my best not to forget. Yeah, so that's why I was like, and at some point in time, it would have to be something like that would pop off in order for there to be reproduction. But then eventually have a male and a female, then the two come back together. So that's one. Damn, wow, dog. That's like cloning. That's like cloning. Courtney Walker. I'm not giving out any more of my personal business because I do realize that people really try to look into my personal business when I do that. You know what I mean? So we'll just stick to boxing, Courtney. That's been my new policy, man, because it's, just have a lot of really crazy conversations with people. But I still have the same job that I had when I started this channel. Said no. Say Cruz said no apology. We love that shit. That's what's up. I appreciate that. Can you provide a website or link so Black people can understand their rights when we get racially profiled? Dewan, I'm sure you can. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm sure I can. I'd have to look up something to give you a good source on it. But there are the written rights, and then there's what you're actually practically dealing with. And I don't think, if you ask them what you should do when you get racially profiled by police, just do what they ask you to do. Do what they ask you to do. Get yourself into a situation till you can get a lawyer. I would not play lawyer with police officers. I wouldn't be talking to them dudes about my rights. I would ask them questions. Yo, if they ask me to do something, I'm going to do it. I'll say, "Excuse me, can you tell me what you pulled me over for?" And they give you an explanation, and you say, "Okay." Are you going to give me a ticket? Here's the ticket. If they say, "Oh, you don't have a license, get in my car," you get in the car. Because that can go really, really bad, man. Like, that's something where, like, if it was boxing, don't take that fight. You know what I mean? Like, I think of like any type of abrasive conversation with the police officer. being similar to a flyweight taking on a heavyweight. Like, yeah, if you put your hands on you, it gets crazy. I guess you're going to have to defend yourself. But I just go along with what he got to say until you get an opportunity to get a lawyer. And at which point in time, they will respect that. And you'll be out of immediate harm's way. Option number one is get there without getting killed. Get out of there without getting killed. It's rule number one. And I'm going to tell you this too. You know what? What's the guy, Aubrey? I got to tell you something, man. I watched how he behaved. And I'm thinking, dude, that that dude might have been like having an episode or something on a couple of those tapes, man. I think he might have been having an episode. Especially the one where he was in the parking lot, like when he was in the grass. He was by his car with a jacket on, with no shirt underneath it, and it was parked like and the car was like parked in the middle of a field. Just didn't seem like the car belonged there. And he's like, man, I'm just chilling. I'm relaxing. It's my day off. I'm like, you know what, man? That dude might have been having an episode there. You know what I mean? And they felt like, so they could have been known about this dude, which makes the crime against the dude even worse. Because more than likely, though, that'd be interesting to look into. Because even the way that he was running through the neighborhood, it didn't look like jogging clothes. It looked like he was having an attack. Maybe it could have been wrong, which means they really handled that shit crazy. Neither Furter Jr., don't fuss, don't fight, don't flee. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, don't fuss, don't fight, don't flee. None of that, dude. Why? That's not a good move. That's not a smart move. Drew T needs 1,000 subs now. Excellent LDBC contributor. Yeah, he's a guest host on the channel, man. Please subscribe. You got a link. Can you put Drew Titan's stuff in the chat? Mike Lowe, just a question. Do you believe in God? Yes, absolutely. 100 miles an hour. It's absolutely illogical to believe that there's not. Yeah, why would you think? Yeah, absolutely I do. Now, after that, we might be having a disagreement. After that, we can have a disagreement. But nah, man, I think that atheists, unless you mean atheistic, like you don't have a like a religious system, unless that's what you mean, I think you're fucking shit that shit's ridiculous. That's like cutting logic off right at the bottom. Like you're just gonna cut that shit. You're just gonna, at the point where shit actually makes sense, you're gonna cut all that out. Like there's no purpose. Something's created without a creator. That doesn't make sense to me. I just don't believe. Yeah, see, I'm like, yeah, St. Cruz, and I believe in God, but not religion. Yeah. Like, I mean, religion is religion. That's just religion. Whether I follow your religion, not whether or not I believe in God. I don't really follow people's religion. Like, first of all, y'all don't follow your religion for me to believe it. Like, you don't even believe it. You don't live it. So why do I believe that you believe it? Like, you just refuse to deny it or something. Closer to that, right? But not doing the things that you're doing, there's no way. Especially with like the conversation we've been having today, there's just no way that you can really believe that and do the things that a lot of those people do. But they're never going to say it. But they're never going to say that because they know that is blasphemous. You know what I mean? Brothers UK, Brother Fanon, is God self-created? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm capable of understanding. Definitely not able to confirm. I could talk about what my suspicion is. To answer that question is that I think all of that stuff, all of the things that we can think about are material to a certain degree. And it's that point in time, going beyond that it's just not even, you can't do it. God, only reason I believe there's a God is because of what God created. Not that I can't, and not that I can ponder beyond something that is not even created. It's just that's too much. That'll spin your head in a circle for like the rest of your life, trying to do something like that for no good reason. Because it should be enough that you know that there's a purpose. Because then everything makes sense. But when there's no purpose, that makes no sense. You're just being random and shit. And you're just saying, you're trying to get me to believe that just things are random, that the very basic fundamental base of existence is random. That doesn't make any sense to me. Right? And I'm not saying I can disprove that it wasn't random. I'm just saying that it just doesn't make sense to me that it would be random when almost everything that you do in existence is very structured. It's very predictable. It's repeatable. The basic core concepts of it are transferable. There's nothing random about that. So the idea that it would be random to me is just, no, I believe somehow it was created. And people act like there wasn't. And to me, I'm just like, dude, you just are mixing up religion with existence. Like you must, or maybe like your understanding of the conversation with them could be off in that regard, because they're just trying to communicate that your set of rules, are not the same set of rules that I'm going to live by. Because that's the importance of religion. It's a set of rules that you live by, codes of conduct and expected behaviors, things like that. Anyway, man, you gave me a headache on that one. Don't do that again to me. Brothers, you don't do that to me. Yeah, me spin for about 15 minutes on that. Belief is just belief because you can't prove. Facts never require belief. No proof of a soul or creator or creation, that purpose of life to reproduce just like all other animals. Belief is just a belief. Okay, move that to the side. Because you can't prove it. If all you have is a belief, you can't prove it. But if you have something more than a belief, if you believe something to be true and you know something to be true, you can believe it and know it at the same time. I guess is my first reaction to the first sentence. Facts never require beliefs. Yes, they do. You have to believe that it's a fact. No proof of a soul, en contraire, homie. There's definitely proof. You're animated material. You're animated material. Your body comes from the earth. Your body comes from the earth. Your body is regenerated by food that you take in. It grows from nothing to something. If a soul is something that gives purpose and directive to something that is material, the proof of a soul is the existence of your functioning body, man. You can think within your own head, and you are made of the same thing as a rock. You know that you have consciousness. You know that you have that. You are proof of your soul. You are not appearing. Hey, D-South said you're not appearing on my sub feeds, bro. Sorry to hear that. I'm not sure why that is, man. Much love in that super chat, man. I don't know why that would be, man. It's crazy. YouTube is crazy. Atheists don't need to disprove God not to believe that there is a God. Let me see. Atheists don't need to disprove God to believe that there is a God. Oh, no, they don't. They can just not believe it. That's true. You can just not believe it. And that's you for me. I'm just saying it's hard for me to believe that. It's tough. That's a hard one to overcome. And I've overcome a lot of a lot of dogma. I've overcome a lot. I've determined a lot of stuff to be dogma that I just kind of set off and don't pay a lot of attention to. But African Sci-Fi Scott said, you're right. An earlier race popped back when an animal crosses and lines breeding. It's called throwbacks. 2 a.m. staffs randomly created a French bulldog litter because it's in their lineage. Man, it's great. I'm telling you, shit'll just pop off. Shit'll just pop out. That said, it is what it is. Yeah, absolutely. I really have had a lot of conversations with atheists, though. And truthfully, it always comes down to this. That it's really talking about the existence of the concept of God as explained by religion. That's the thing. That's the hitch right there. Because because you have a concept of God, right? A concept of God. And that concept that you have of God might be just complete garbage. You know what I mean? So when somebody says they don't believe in God, the first thing you got to say is, what is your definition of God? What is it that you do not believe exists? And then we might be believing, I might say that I believe in it, and you say that you don't believe it, and you and I believe basically the same thing. That's why I said my thing was atheism. Atheism, not atheism like you just do not believe in the concept of a creator as you understand it. And what I try my best to do is say, I don't really have a concept of the creator. I don't. I think that's why they say that you shouldn't ever try to create an idol out of God, because then you make something take form that really you shouldn't. You know what I mean? Because you manipulate people's perception of it when you do that, which is why people would say don't ever show the face of God. Because once you define what God is and people associate that natural tendency to understand that something that was created, and you define rules and give purpose to it, you really fundamentally rock that person from the center of their being. Very manipulative situation, man, we were in, man. Very, very manipulative situation. I'm sorry, I'm driving, can't respond as I like to. If there is a necessity for a creator, who created the creator? I can't tell you that, man. I'm sorry. I stop at being human. I'm not going to create a riddle out of it. That's a riddle. And I'm not going to riddle with something I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't think you can understand. That's my take on it. It's called genetics. No, genetics is an explanation of a phenomenon. That's what genetics is. Genetics is an explanation of a phenomenon and the manipulation of that phenomenon for whatever it means that someone may have. That's what genetics is. Just because botany is the study of a tree, just because you can study it and know how to cut it, doesn't mean you can create one. It's a different thing. Hey, James Griffin said, I feel you on that for now. Yeah, man, you know, it is what it is. People can disagree with me. It is what it is. Christopher Campbell said, brilliant. Sometimes we need to hear something from nothing to keep faith that we can make it. For now, we need one day a week that we talk like this, some clarity in this cloud world, cloudy world, confusing world. Yeah, it is tough, man. It's hard out there, man. But I did want to have more of a personal, you know, like conversation, because I knew the people that would watch the live stream are people that are really, you know, real members of the channel. We got to do this every once in a while, especially during these kind of sad times, man, because what's going on is sad, man. That's real sad. Can anybody explain? Nobody can explain, but many attempt. Yeah, can't explain that, man. That's just gotta, you know, that's like asking somebody to jump. You want me to dunk on a 20-foot rim? Can't get up there, man. I can't get up there on something like that. Is God self-created? I think anybody tries to do that is just being arrogant, dude. Matt Newcomb, much love in that super chat, man. I appreciate it. He said, live your life and treat folks like you treat yourself. Man, you know what, Matt Newcomb? That's in church when I realized, I was like, man, you know what? That's it. That's really it. The golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Dude, I think is the absolute whole nutshell of Christianity. It's the most important thing in it. And it's the thing that I stick by the most closely. Because for real, that is like, you can tell like the whole thing in that sentence. Like, that's it right there. What do I need to keep going to church for you? Like, after that, I was like, hold on, man. After about, how long did I go to church? From birth, maybe to around maybe 15 or 16. I would say I was probably regularly in church to around there, around 16, 15 or 16. So it's like 15, 16 years of church. And I was like, I think I understand now. Like, do unto others as you do unto them. And like, it's like, yeah, but memorizing all the Bible verses, and I was like, nah, I think I get it. He wants me to live in this particular fashion. That's the advice that I'm getting. So cool, I got it. And it said it was the New Testament, so why are you reading me the Old? Like, every time they would take me through the Old, I'm like, thought the New was it. If the New was it, why you keep talking to me about the Old? So let me read the New. Or, you know what I mean? Brothers UK said, our concept of God comes from our inability to understand ourselves. God begins where our understanding ends. Drew Titans, 1,000 subs now. Subscribe, yeah, man, because that was pretty, yeah, that's, probably a great observation. Because, boom, that's where I have to stop it. That's where I stop it right there. Because I don't know. I don't understand. You dropped that fire. Hey, thanks, Christopher Campbell. I appreciate you. God brings people together. Religion separates them. It does. Some stuff you discover only by life experience. Then you can speak out if the volumes of your life, and people will dispute what you live. So I just keep that sacred stuff to yourself. Oh, so I be just like, keep that. Oh, say, oh, yeah, I hear your point on that. Yeah, the outcomes of volumes of your life experience is what I meant, not if. Okay, maybe I have to read that again. Okay, yeah, I got that. Oh, Amy J said, my grandmother told me fire can be explained by a simple match, and Jesus can be explained with a simple book. Yeah, they can tone that down a little bit, dude. That's not all that 18, 20 years. That ain't necessary. You can pretty much get to the point pretty quick. You know, do to others as you would have them do unto you. But I ain't buying and giving you 10% of my money. That don't make any sense. Some of that just is, they be taking some leaps, boy. There's no talking about not going to church when I was at my grandmother's house. Yeah, man, it was, yeah, we had to go to church all during the time I lived, you know, till I got old enough to drive a car myself and stay at home. Pretty much from the time I got I don't know. I think we might have moved. And when we moved, yeah, it was probably because we moved. When we moved, we didn't really go to that church as much. And some of the people from the church, broke off into other stuff. But said, nah, I'm keeping all my money. Anyway, man, look, I appreciate it. Today I just wanted to do something a little different today. I definitely appreciate you guys. Hold on one second. I think I might have missed something. Definitely appreciate you guys. There was no talking about not going. Okay, yeah, Thrill Hill, I got that. Hey, you got to go to church, huh? Yeah. Hey, my parents don't. Just to get you right, dude. My mother don't play about God. My sister don't play about Jesus. They don't play about Jesus. My mother and sister do not play. My female family members, they don't play about Jesus at all. Jesus is serious business. And, hey, like I grew up like fundamental, like to some kind of like fundamentalist Christian type stuff popping off, Shane Bergman said, great topics today. I'm glad that you liked it. Thank you, Shane. I'm glad that you enjoyed. Yeah, we had to do something a little bit different, man. I needed to take a day. I needed to take not a break from boxing because I definitely love talking about boxing. But make sure you check out the videos that I put up today and share the videos. That would be awesome. If you watch the videos, please share the videos. And let me know if you guys got any more questions before I get off, because we have 13 more minutes until my man KQKC goes on. So I didn't want to leave too big of a gap. Many thanks, Fanon. Enjoy your weekend and stay safe, man. I will do. Well, anyway, yeah. So I guess I really like today's convo. Didn't comment much. Just wanted to pick up some game. Hey, you heard my thoughts. You heard my thoughts. You heard my thoughts, and I appreciate you guys' support very, 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 very much. It is definitely big time. Make sure y'all go to KQKC at 1:00. Don't forget my man. I'm going to get out of here with that. I'm out. Peace. Likewise, Matt Newcomb.